Yes, it finally happened. I go to do an interview, and suddenly I'm surrounded by cops. It's the cast of Allegiance talking Season 2 of their CBC series, next on Brio TV, the podcast. Well, the second season of the slick crime series Allegiance begins January 15th on CBC and CBC Gem. The shot-in-Surrey BC drama stars Supinder Wraich, Enrico Colantoni, and Salem. And I spoke with all three in Toronto at the CBC Winter Media Launch in December. Wraich plays Sabrina Sohal, a promising rookie police officer who fights to serve her hometown. Rico is the seasoned cop who mentors her past the hurdles of a flawed justice system. In Season 2, Sohal graduates to the serious crimes unit. I guess she's all done with the trivial crimes unit, and has 6 months to prove she's got what it takes to be a detective. She's paired in that task with a more experienced detective played by series newcomer Salem. All three take part in this chatty podcast episode. The discussion ranges from immigration and culture clashes to which cast member caused the most outtakes. Here they are, interviewed at the CBC Broadcast Centre in Toronto this past December. Well, congrats on Season 2. And this is shot in Surrey as well, is set there, right?
Yeah, between Surrey and Langley.
Okay.
Is where we shoot, yeah.
You use Langley a lot out there, right? Yeah. Were you able to continue shooting when you were doing Season 1? Was it all done as a block, 1 and 2, or did you start again?
No, we had I think about 8 months.
Oh, between. Wow. Nice break. Okay.
Yeah, so our shooting schedule tends to be in the fall. Mm-hmm. And so we shot, I think it was September to December last year, and then we were about maybe 2 weeks earlier this year, but same sort of time frame, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to premiere earlier this year, too.
Yeah, in January.
January 15th.
What was it last year?
Was it March?
February.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. That would be
January.
And so the pickup came a little later, so hopefully we'll
get a
pickup for Season 12.
Well, it really looks that's when CBC kicks off, right? January. That's when the big guns come out.
Well, we didn't get to do this day last year.
Right.
Yeah, because we just weren't ready and we weren't airing with the rest of
we were still working.
We were still... I guess we were still working, yeah.
When did you guys shoot until last year?
December 22nd.
Oh, wow. It's at the bitter end.
Yeah. And then it was the 23rd, and then we were home for
Christmas.
New Year's Eve, or Christmas Eve.
Christmas.
New Year's Eve by the time I was awake.
How is this for you? Is it a bit, sometimes it's described as stepping onto a moving train as you're joining a show. It's already been.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was, I don't know. It was great. I felt like part of the family
hazed him
pretty quickly. Yeah, they did. They hazed me pretty good.
They hazed you?
Whoopi Christensen were involved. No. No, honestly, it was actually really easy for me to come in. I felt like these guys really welcomed me with open arms and made me feel very comfortable very quickly.
Good.
It started with your audition.
Truly, honestly, I think it was me and Supinder did a chem test, and our chemistry was kind of just there.
And we work similarly.
I think so.
Did you do a chemistry test in person or over Zoom?
Thank God it was in person.
Okay, so I don't understand this. How could you do this over? Does this work when you do
over
a Zoom?
I mean, it's a different skill, to be completely honest, and I think you have to work a little bit harder if you're doing a chem test over Zoom, because you're like separated by a...
Who knows?
God knows.
Yeah.
And I think as human beings, so much of our communication is nonverbal or even just energetic, to be completely honest.
And I got to meet Sammer outside of the room. So, because I know that coming in and testing for a role like that with the number one, it's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so I went outside and introduced myself to everybody and had like a little bit of a hello, and we got to know each other. And I don't know if we put it together there or afterwards that Sammer and I had studied with the same acting school.
Oh my goodness! What was that?
Don't mention her name.
We had a similar style, and so we kind of just recognized that in each other, and there was safety right away, and a willingness to like
to go.
push.
Well, yeah.
And this was a really hard role to fill, Zach's role, because you needed somebody to come in with a lot of authority. And it's really hard to do that when you're auditioning, is to have that authority over somebody who's currently playing the lead of a show. And when Sammer walked in, and I think they had asked everybody in the room, do you have any questions about this person? And most people came in. I don't even know if I told you this, most people came in and they were like, oh, I was wondering about this, and Sammer was just like, no, I know who he is, let's go.
That's a good sign. Confidence.
It was great.
Had you played a cop before? Or
No, and this is the first time I've kind of played anything like this. I think I went in there, Supinder was really classy and smart also about her coming out and talking to each of these people, because at the end of the day, you want to find the right guy for the part, and you want to get the best performance out of everybody who's coming in. And even her just coming out and us having just a quick little debrief.
how did you know that you had this guy? Was it just right on the page? What was it that tweaked for you that you could step right into this character?
I auditioned for a couple of times. So I auditioned the one time, I sent in a tape, and then they had me do another tape. But they wanted somebody who was kind of like a little bit cocky, but also very playful. And I think I have the playful thing down pretty hard in my life in general. I'm like, finally, I love the way the character was written, and because he was both serious and good at his job, but also he kind of took the piss out of things. And I'm like, great. It was just a well-written character who played in both roles of being serious and being playful and irreverent, and also the way I just got a really solid moral compass, I think, that doesn't take himself too seriously in public. I think.
Are you the playful one? You know, your friends consider you do you pull pranks?
Yeah, I don't know that I pull pranks so much necessarily, but I'm just very jovial, I think, and my energy is that. But also, I think I'm very serious at the same time as well. And maybe even a little neurotic sometimes. I think.
You had a prank pulled on you.
Yeah.
And you had a prank pulled on you. Both had pranks pulled on you on set.
What happened?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about his?
So,
you know about his?
So,
it's Madison.
One of our directors, Madison, she, what's Madison's last name?
Thomas.
Yeah, Madison Thomas. She directed the fourth block. And she's tiny. She's I don't know, about 4.5 feet tall.
She's 5'2", yeah.
And I'm very I know, we come in from lunch and everyone's like, oh, somebody got in a fight, something happened. We come in from lunch and everyone's the camera crew and everybody's very quiet. And we're shooting in a locker room. So everyone's just seated on these benches and nobody's talking to each other. I'm like, somebody got in an argument. And I walk in and, a little bit of food coma. And they go, and I think I'm very much of a yes man, especially when working with directors. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? And then somebody comes up, Kate, our script supervisor, she's a great actress. She comes up, she's like, hey, Sammer, Madison wants you to practice opening this bag. Opening this gym bag. It's a hockey bag. She's like, I'm like, okay. So I toss my bag down.
Well, no, you had a reaction. I thought you were like, why? I don't know.
No, in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Why you open this bag? But I didn't say anything out loud. I'm like,
body inside? What are we building to?
Well, I go and unzip the bag and she pops out.
Oh, nice.
That's
awesome.
She's literally right there. I'm like, whoa! And I mean, they reported it obviously because of my own mind.
I have it.
Oh God!
Wearing something unusual, perhaps? Or?
No, she was just but picture my surprise when I go to open this gym bag and and now it makes sense why everyone was so stoic and not looking at us.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What was your prank, Rico?
Oh, you didn't
You're
go?
talking about the last day.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know. It's not,
well, I'll
it's not
tell
as
you,
funny as that, but
it started I think months before it happened.
That's funny. That makes it even funnier.
Because Shubham, who was our trailer AD,
oh yes, I saw that.
At one point spotted that there were mannequins on set.
Okay.
And so he goes to one of the somebody in the production design department. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing with that mannequin?" We're storing it or whatever. And he was like, "Can I have it?" And so they lent it to him, and he put a police uniform on the mannequin. And then Rico.
I have one better.
You have a picture of it?
Yeah.
I have he's a filmmaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had a camera in the room to get my reaction, and he followed me into the trailer. So he
So this is next February on CBC's hilarious bloopers and practical jokes on set.
Oh my God, it was so good, Bill. This was so good. So Rico's like in between. He's rushing to his trailer. He goes in. Anyways, you'll see it in the video. He turns on the light. And what did you say? Because you couldn't stop repeating it.
it was just.
It was like,
upset.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's what it was. He said it about 30 times.
Wow.
He turns on the light and he sees this mannequin.
So this is me coming into the trailer.
All right.
Vote, I have it. You don't have it, I got it.
Like it won't even click.
So, yeah, he comes in, he turns on the light, and oh my God, it was priceless. And everybody who saw the video, and I'm sorry to say, Rico, everybody saw the video.
He's probably so happy.
You see what they did to us, Rico?
Yeah, but you know who didn't get pranked? It's me.
And what happened there?
I don't know. I think that...
Toby.
Here it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, I can't even click it on.
Hold on. It's Josh and I lost it. There it is. So
you can see who is already waiting for me.
Oh,
You see that foot right there.
Oh, and they
See
caught,
this?
and they
Yeah, I
caught you
did.
coming in, so they were looking at a dressing room. You're entering this room. You turn on the light.
What the fuck?
That's very funny.
and then if you hear Rico says,
What the fuck?
I'm very Italian, eh?
What was the mannequin like? As
He
a
was
knife
dressed
in it
in,
or
he
something?
had my police hat on. He was dressed in uniform.
he's taking a nap.
I thought it was just a strange guy, a man who decided to
Yeah.
take a sleep in my trailer, take a nap in my trailer. Now, if he had actually done that, I would have pissed my pants.
Yeah.
Like turning.
That would have been even funnier if they had an actual human
actual
being
human,
dressed
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
and Stephanie going to turn this into an episode, or is there?
Well, last year, Stephanie, do you remember I was shooting a scene and I looked to the right and a dinosaur is walking by, and it was Stephanie in a dinosaur
Oh, that's
costume. So like they're in on it too. Yeah.
So Rico would say, "What the fuck?"
What the
What the
fuck?
fuck?
It's just my.
It wasn't my serious.
It's pretty hilarious.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with the cast of Allegiance.
But you only get a few. You get that evil feeling when your essays due. Around here it's called the varsity blues. You went to a pub, went to a party with a little bit of work, you might get a B. Your books are overdue, the school is gonna sue, and your dad's gonna give you the third degree. You get that evil feeling when your essays due. Around here it's called the varsity blues.
Once again, time to chat with Emily Gagne at Hollywood Suite. Emily, tell us what's new in the new year.
Well, it's a scary new year at Hollywood Suite. We've got lots of genre programming for genre fans. We've got, a new episode of Cinema A to Z focused on the apocalypse, so dystopian favorites from throughout history. But also, we've just got some great movies like Jason and the Argonauts, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which I think is very underrated, and even Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, written by Roger Ebert.
Oh, a proud moment for Roger. Also, what else do you got? I hear you got a new series.
I sure do. It's called Kin. We've got season 2, never before seen in Canada. We also have season 1, of course.
Yeah.
But season 2, I like to describe this series as a mix of The Sopranos, Peaky Blinders, and Gomorrah.
Wow.
It's an Irish mob drama, so if you like any of those shows, I think you should definitely check it out.
Oh, but I like it too. An Irish mob drama. Where else can you find it but on Hollywood Suite? Thanks a lot, Emily.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, good news, Star Trek fans. Paramount Plus Canada is boldly going into 2025 with the premiere of the original movie Star Trek Section 31. The Shot in Toronto feature stars Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, so great as that kick-ass character in Star Trek Discovery. Here, she's tasked with protecting the United Federation of Planets. She must also face up to the sins of her past. The movie premieres Friday, January 24th. As for right now, all 8 seasons of Dexter and Dexter New Blood are available for Paramount Plus subscribers, along with new prequel series Dexter Original Sin.
As for the kids, look for Henry Danger, the movie, premiering Friday, January 17th. It's based on the hit Nickelodeon live-action series. And remember, with a mountain of entertainment to choose from, there's always something for everyone on Paramount+. We're back with Supinder, Rico, and Samer.
Season 2, we now see that you've graduated from the first test, and now you have a 6-month test to become a superintendent, or what is it? Detective. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this based on, is this sort of what happens, I guess, when people are being trained? Or it seems like an arbitrary number. You got 6 months to get this down.
Well, I think there's also the element of it that it's a very fast progression from constable to detective.
Yeah.
And that is actually based on a real individual.
Okay.
And so it's I mean, the thing is that Sabrina.
I'm sorry. Is this woman was on the set of your show as a consultant? I think you talked about her before.
It was a man.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he was Paul Dadwell.
Okay.
Make sure that's his same last name.
I'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure. And so, Spiller, is this being recorded to air? Or you?
It's for a podcast.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So
I'm gonna have to heavily edit the search for the photo part, but yeah, it's a podcast.
Yeah. Paul's last name. I think it was. Well, yeah, Paul Dadwell. Yeah. And the reason for Paul being escalated so fast, and partially for Sabrina too, is because when Paul was joining the force, there weren't that many Sikh Punjabi detectives, and so because but they were serving this community, so they really needed people who knew the community. And that's also one of Sabrina's strengths, but also, the way the show's been built and how she comes to solve episodes is that her special sauce or secret power is that, she really listens. She really pays attention. And so that's sort of the setup, and it's based on a true real person. But in terms of that 6-month probation, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it works.
But in the first part, you saw 3 things that were important, and that's what jumped you as well, right?
In the first season, yeah.
Because the show is kind of it's a mix, isn't it? It's a serial and a procedural, right? Because there's a story continuing the story about your father, and he's released now, and what's going to happen.
Proceduralized.
Right. Okay, is that what it's called?
I just made that up.
That's a good word.
That sounds like it.
Now, and is it, when the show was first introduced, it was sort of set up that you two were sort of like almost like a father-daughter relationship, that a mentor.
Yeah.
That dynamic has changed in season 2, it seems. I was glad to see, though, the first episode that you still have that connection and relationship, right? There's episodes between you where you're still concerned how she's going to come along, and you're still learning from him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But they're just a little more spread out in season 2.
Right.
Precious.
Yeah.
They're very precious.
Okay.
They're just like that. That's their relationship.
They've bonded, and it does seem like a tight.
Rico gets to have other partners now.
Right.
He's not just stuck with Sabrina.
The Gabinski character comes back in we see him again in season 2.
All right.
And he's been demoted. I've been promoted to sergeant, so now I'm sort of taking him under my wing, and we developed this very interesting.
And you go out with Jillian.
Jillian comes out on the field.
Yeah.
We drag her out of the command center and put her, and she's just as big a hot dog as the Sabrina character. Like, oh fuck!
Oh
what
my
did
God!
they
I
teach
saw
you at the
some.
academy?
Yeah.
You're like, she's just going in there, guns blaring. It's just like,
dude, why did it take so long for this guy to become a sergeant? He was never.
He didn't want one. He didn't want it.
Yeah.
He didn't want it.
Yeah.
He didn't want it. Because you find out in this season as well that he came out of the academy with Inspector Bolton and the assistant commissioner. So they came out together, but he was just sort of like, no, I don't need to be promoted.
Yeah.
I guess because of the Sabrina character, he was infused with new excitement for the job, and he took the promotion.
Yeah.
They didn't really talk about it, but I imagine that's what happened.
I ask you before that, have you worked with David Cubitt before?
I loved it.
Must, right?
Yeah, we did a film together years ago
Yeah.
What was it?
called The Colossal Failure of the Modern Relationship, and I actually had to say that in a sentence.
Colossal failure of the modern
Let's say that fucking line. But he was wonderful. He was just so much fun to work with.
Oh my God, he's so much. I have a
Yeah.
David Cubitt story. He's hilarious. He's just so calm. And there was something, we were doing a scene together, and and David kept, I had a line, and David kept cutting me off. And so I went to him after, and I was like, hey, David, just I have a couple words after that I need to finish. And he just looked at me and he went,
Really?
and he walked away.
He did that show Medium, right? And there was a unique stillness to that series.
Yeah.
And just one of his qualities is you could, diffuse a bomb while he was talking. It just seems really calm, right, all the time.
He's I marvel at how he delivers pipe.
Yeah.
Yes, he's so good.
Delivers pipe.
Right, like that.
I call him the plumber.
Exposition.
It's just information. He's just laying pipe. He's just
Okay.
catching
phenomenal.
everybody up. This is what's going on.
And it's like, I believe it.
About
believe every word.
He's a master.
He
Watching
throws it
season
away,
one.
but you understand
This is the
everything.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest stuff to do, I
Right.
think. In
Because it's a laundry list of information.
Exactly. And, and how do you do it? Because it's necessary for story points.
Exposition.
Yeah, yeah.
Exposition.
So it's a very necessary
You
story
never heard that
points.
expression? Laying
Pipe. No.
Okay.
No.
And it's hard to make it not sound boring.
Yeah.
But he's good. Even when you got him in an audition, you get him all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how do I say this as fast as possible? Because it's so,
Yeah.
and he does it, and I'm like, I believe you. Even watching
Yeah.
season one,
Yeah.
he was such a standout for me too, because I'm
Yeah.
like, what you're doing is, his character comes in to do a lot of that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's tricky, and he does it so well. I'm like, I believe you.
You have to credit the writers as well, too, for
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
providing dialogue that works on that level, because nothing sticks out worse than the talking head shows where it's just 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of that,
Yeah.
all the way through.
Totally, but I do think if you had an actor that wasn't David Cubitt
Yeah,
with all that
true.
same dialogue, it would be like, shoot
might
me
stick out.
in the head. You know what I mean? But he's like, damn.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we had the benefit of the writer's strike, the SAG strike,
Oh,
in the first season. So
explain.
we really had the
benefit
pick of the
of
litter.
it.
That first season when we got actors like
Yeah.
Vince Gale.
Yeah.
Because you guys were allowed, you were able to go, and that's
Yeah.
what you mean.
Because
Okay.
We
were all
because we were a
contained in
Canadian
Canada.
show.
Right.
And most of those
Brian
crews.
Markinson, we had,
Yeah.
we had the pick of the litter, and
Yeah.
Cubitt was
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with our crew as well, that because most of those crews worked on big American shows and nothing was shooting at that time.
Right.
So we
Worked
really did. And the season 2 we had a great.
Back after these short messages. Well, we hear a lot about fake news these days. Well, here's some real fake news. The acclaimed Australian drama Fake premieres with 2 episodes starting January 16th on Super Channel Fuse. Magazine writer Bertie Bell meets successful grazier Joe Burt on a dating app and believes she's found her perfect match. But as the relationship intensifies, she begins to feel her boyfriend isn't all he has led her to believe. Inspired by Stephanie Wood's real-life memoir starring Asher Keddy and David Wenham. And good news, Hearties. Season 12 of the hit series One Calls the Heart is up and running now on Super Channel Heart and Home. The new season brings new stories about family, community, and of course, romance as things move further into the 1920s. Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie will guest star in a 2-episode arc this season in the role of Georgie McGill, who shares a surprising past with one special Hope Valley resident. And remember, Super Channel is available via most cable providers across the country, as well as streaming live and on demand with Amazon Prime Video channels, Apple TV Plus, and Fubo. And we're back.
But what makes this show stand out, though, as you said, the community is different. Like that's, you're actually exploring something that hasn't been told a lot on television. You must be very invested in that.
Extremely invested, yeah.
It seems authentic. You find it that way, too?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, the show was created by an RLE, right? It was created by another brown woman. I think that we have so many voices behind, because I think that that's where it makes a big difference, Bill, is, you can have as much representation in front of the screen, but if you don't have the writers there that have that lived experience, then you don't get that authenticity. And so we had, I don't know what Tammy's last name is, but I think Tammy Butt, Supinder Wraich, we had Sharon Lewis, like we had all these brown women behind the scenes helping to mold this character and tell Sabrina's story.
Other directors as well.
Nimisha Mukherjee.
Nice, good.
Yeah. Madison Thomas is an Indigenous director, another brown woman.
Wow.
Like it's there within all of the facets. So editors, producers.
Well, it's interesting to watch. Like I lived in Brampton for 35 years, just moved up to Orangeville.
Yeah.
And, so I saw that community absolutely change because there was such a large population that had come. And it's, and raising children in that city as well. And so it's fascinating. It does seem like there's a lot of stories that can be told, right? It's like in any time, in any culture, if there's a lot of Italians coming to Toronto in the 50s, or, it changes those people.
Well, the Italians moved out of Rexdale, and then the Japanese moved in.
I was going to say
and
that
now
when
I think
you said
we're
Rexdale, those are my people there.
Yeah.
Enrico, right?
Enrico.
Brother Enrico, yeah.
But the storyline, the main one about your father, I mean, you can't give it away, but we're going to continue to see that explored right through the end of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it. And that's also just why Anar set the story in Surrey and not in Brampton and not in Rexdale, because the roots for the Sikh Punjabi community in Surrey run so much deeper. They run into like the early 1900s,
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. The first Sikh settlers came in, served World War II. Like, it's just like the families we're into like third generation there. And so really the question we were asking with the show, especially with the title Allegiance, is for this young woman, for Sabrina, our lived experiences are very different. I was born in India. I moved here when I was 4. But for Sabrina, she was born here and her father was born here. And so when people ask, where are you from? For her, the answer is very much I'm Canadian. But then with the way that her father presents himself, because he's a practicing man of Sikh faith, for him to be charged in his own country,
right?
That's the basis and the root of this show, and it's very specific to Surrey. Which is what I think also makes it a great show, because I think that conflict that the main character has of who am I, where do I really belong, is central to everyone's
You forget
lives.
that, how deeply rooted the Punjabi community are in the military and the police in this country. I mean, the generations of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. So is there 10 episodes? What is it? How many did you do this season?
8.
8, okay.
No, it's
there's
10.
Whatever.
I was going to say 80. If it was 80?
80? I did 8.
I did.
It just seems like 80. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was a long shoot.
Well, good for all of you. Anything from your point of view coming into this show? What are the differences or the appeal for you joining?
I think, again, working as Zach throughout the season was awesome. I love the way the character was written. Working with these guys was a total dream. I think one thing I loved about the season was the content of the scripts. I think a lot of the subject matter we tackled through various episodes, especially later in the season, there are topics I feel like that aren't necessarily always the focus of episodic television. Things that we don't talk about very often. And I think, the writers writing things like this will, provide an opportunity to, especially in brown communities, let's say, there's certain things that we don't talk about, like, oh, this doesn't happen with us. Because everything is very, it's funny, it's almost waspy in the sense that, like, there's certain waspy things, just like, you don't talk about family drama. You don't talk about, like, sexual abuse is rampant across all cultures.
Right.
But some cultures like to believe that, no, this doesn't happen in our neighborhood. This doesn't happen in our church or our temple or our mosque or whatever. And I think a lot of the scripts this season, delve into those areas. And I think what an incredible opportunity that, somebody might watch this and say, see their community represented and be like, oh, I know somebody that this happened to, but nobody talks about it because this doesn't happen in our community. Yeah. Well, the veil has been lifted now. It's like, no, it happens in every community. So
that's brave, right?
Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
brave.
And I think it's, again, it lends more support to why representation is so important, not just in, like, the noble and fun ways, you know what I mean? But, like, I think it's important to see the dysfunction that exists in all communities.
And of course it does, right?
Yeah, but
everybody's human.
Absolutely. But this is the thing. I think there's this lie that's told.
Yeah.
And whether it's a racial thing or a socioeconomic thing, that people who are wealthy, these problems don't exist in the country club. They don't exist in the ghetto. That's not true. There's just some people are better at hiding them than others. And it's not even just some people. I think society as a whole there's a silent agreement about what do we keep secret and what do we share. And even though we know, like, for example, all the stuff that happened with the Catholic Church, and maybe a lot of tangent here. Yeah. But we all knew that was kind of happening for a long time, but nobody ever talked about it until, I don't know, like 15 years ago? Maybe was it 2000? Maybe it's a little bit longer.
It's been a gradual.
Yeah, but it's like
back in the Michael Power, Henry Carr days, it wasn't a big hot topic.
but it's
couldn't talk about it. No.
This is just like this because these things don't happen in the church or whatever. So I think that every successive script that that we got, I'm like, oh wow, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this.
Yeah, a lot of brave writers this year.
So that's the great part of it. Then it's about something. Right? Like, it's not just a cop show and you got to catch the guy at the end. Like, I think that's a nice layer to it. So you must feel fortunate to be in the middle of that.
Absolutely.
Given that you're shooting 10, you probably do have time to go off and do other things. Are you able to, or are you very focused on this role in this show?
I mean, now that we're done, I think we're kind of like, there's some time between now and what I imagine will be season 3. I feel like I mean, I feel like it's a good freaking season.
It's a good season.
And I just did ADR actually on up to episode 5.
You did?
It looks really good.
Oh, great.
But I think that's, I guess, part of the benefit of shooting quickly over 3 months.
Yeah.
And I think they sent you.
Well,
you're watching up at episode 5?
No, it's ADR.
Oh, the ADR.
ADR. Don't worry, Rico.
Have you two watched 1 and 2?
I have.
You watched them? I haven't watched them yet.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Do you like watching yourself on screen? Or some actors I talk to, they're like but are you?
Do you know what? I don't I can watch myself. I don't know about you two, but I can watch myself sometimes with purpose in terms of if I'm in a scene and I just need to see what I'm doing to correct. Like if there's a direction I'm getting that I don't understand, sometimes I just need to watch what I'm doing and then my mind can wrap my brain around it. Or I like to watch it with my friends and family as like a celebration of like, here's this thing I worked so hard to do, but I can't watch it by myself sitting in there's too much of me in the show. But I just I can't. So they sent me
nice problem to have.
But it's a nice problem. But they sent me the screeners and I was just like, it was a tough shoot. It was a tough shoot, and I was just like, I'm not ready to sit in the dark by myself and just go through this again. And so I'll watch it with my family when it comes out.
Oh, great.
And we watch every episode.
It's pretty celebrate. Physical, too, so you must be impressed, your family.
With my physicality?
Just with your performance, right? Just that you're their daughter.
I think that's what it is. I watch it. I watch it with my mom.
Oh, nice.
And it's a nice thing that we do together, and my sister. Yeah.
Rico, you're generally working on 5 or 6 other things.
Yes, and Rico's just nominated
English
for an
teacher.
Independent Spirit Award.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I love you as the principal on the.
Yeah, he's fun.
Now you're a bit younger. You're younger than I am. But there was
much.
Well enough that I wonder if you got the same sense. So I'm watching that, and I saw a bit of Michael Constantine from Route 222 in that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah, sure.
So I just thought, because he was always sort of a bit distracted, but he was on. He had his finger on it.
Yeah.
But he was trying to be just carrying on.
That's
land,
funny,
right?
Was that a comedy, Room 222?
Yes,
it was a comedy.
This is way before your time. But
yeah, I mean, I was still. You're right. I was that much younger.
Yes.
I remember it, but not really.
You would just barely remember.
Yeah.
I remember it. It's an impressive show. And it was 1969 to 73 or something. We're talking 50 plus years.
I tell you, what's special about English teacher, and Supinder made me aware of this because I wasn't really watching him because I'm one of those guys who just like want to.
Oh, really?
But she asked me, "Did you fuck up that line?"
Yeah.
Because there was a line that says, "What did I say?"
I'll tell you. So there's a line in there, I think it's episode 2, where Rico, there's this mother who comes in and she's blaming the English teacher for possibly turning her son.
Yeah.
And so the line is, the line was supposed to be, because when I heard it, I was like, that wasn't the line. The line was supposed to be, did you kiss your boyfriend in front of her son?
Right.
And he said, did you kiss her son? I mean, did you kiss your boyfriend in front of her son or something like that?
So, and I go, they did?
Because
And it was just like, oh my God, they're using a lot of the fuck ups.
Well, that one actually makes it better.
Yeah. Did you kiss her son? I mean, did you kiss your boyfriend in front of your
But
son?
you have to understand, even on Just Shoot Me, it's
Right.
like if you made a flub, it was just like, okay, go back. It's just, come on, guys. It was an honest human thing.
Right.
But Veronica Mars the same way. It's just like, it had to be line perfect. Allegiance, I get away with it.
Right.
A lot. You can, but English teachers, just like, they're using the absolute fuck ups.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the testament.
Seems to be working.
Yeah.
That's the testament. That's what makes that show.
It feels
a little
alive.
special. They're not afraid to just like, okay, that's the funny part. It wasn't. It was off. It was. But they're not afraid of that.
Well, we have to end on the fuck ups, but may you have many next season.
Thank
season
you.
3.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Further on. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank
you too.
you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks once again to the cast of Allegiance. Season 2 begins Wednesday, January 15th on CBC and CBC Gem. Thanks as always to Phil Hong for producing this and all the episodes you hear here at Brio TV. I'm ever grateful to BJ Del Conte, Paul Boudra, and the Crispy Critters for the music heard on this podcast, and I want to especially single out my old friend Stephen Dudley on piano. Thank you, finally, listener, for finding us here and listening, and I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, please pass on to friends, family, and even enemies. I'm Bill Brio. Thanks for listening.